And I would love it, and it's an honor to have Representative Felipe say a few words about our pillars this session from the BPRC and why this bill matters. So, Representative Felipe.
Thank you, Representative Roberts. I'll say that I won't talk about all of our pillars, but I'll say our pillars are based on not only policy, but the way that we see each other and the way that we treat each other. And I want to thank everybody from yesterday on our Appropriations Committee. I actually wasn't on the meeting, but I went home and I watched it, and I cried hard. I smiled wide. There were a lot of things that I heard there that were powerful to me that made me realize, coming from a city like Bridgeport, why I'm so passionate about this work. And for everybody who showed up yesterday, for everybody who showed up today, everybody who's standing up, and everybody who's watching, I love you. And I learned that from Representative Tony Walker, who was there, and I guarantee you, to everybody here, she loves you. She is somebody who, I got to love on her a little bit. She is the godmother of many of us in the BPRC. I know when Representative Nolan and myself got here in 2019, when Representative Roberts got here in 2023, she took us under her wing, and she really made us realize that this building works a certain way. But we don't have to lose who we are or where we come from or the people that we think about every time that we step into these rooms. I think about Representative Nolan often because we got here in 2019. The next year, we did the police accountability bill, and he was an active police officer. There were people in his everyday life telling him that he should make a different decision. He stood by his morals with the courage and the fortitude that many of us would not have, and I just want to say thank you for that. But every time that I come up to this Capitol, I also think about the people that got me here. And I think about a man by the name of Eric Amato Sr. Eric Amato went to jail before I was born in the early 90s in Bridgeport, Connecticut on a capital murder charge. The way I know the story, I'm not going to try to tell it word for word or verbatim, the way I know it is that he did some things in his past, and he was being hunted by a few gentlemen in the community. And those people were coming for him at every corner, right? You're looking over your shoulder every single day. One day he looks over his shoulder, and they are coming for him armed, ready to end his life. His reaction, in retaliation, he took the life of one of those men. And he got a capital murder charge in 1992. Now, I'm not saying that the loss of a life isn't something that's supposed to be taken seriously, but there are plenty of people who were maybe Latino with a lighter hue and less vowels in their name that got less than a capital murder charge. There are white folks that got less than a capital murder charge. And in 2022 or 2023, when pardons and paroles changed their policy to say that they were not looking at capital murder charges, he had already had a hearing scheduled. They took that hearing away from him. He's still sitting in prison right now. In the early 2000s, I met Eric Amato Jr. and Giancarlo Amato, his two sons. Eric Amato is somebody who I worked with professionally, somebody who taught me respect, kindness, and how to handle myself and work hard. Giancarlo Amato, somebody also who can teach me those things, but he taught me at a party too. I love Giancarlo Amato. But I'll tell you this. When I think about how I handle myself in front of people, I think of Eric Amato Jr. going outside at one of the campaign offices we worked at together. He would light a cigarette, and he would talk to some of our canvas workers who weren't doing so well, and he'd let them go, and they would smile walking away. They would understand what had happened because he learned how to explain those things. And what I learned in 2023 when I finally got to connect with Eric Amato Sr., albeit on the phone, is that through Eric and Giancarlo's entire lives, he taught them how to be respectful. He taught them how to dress. He taught them how to be men, even though he learned in prison how to be a man. He was 22, 23 years old when he went away. And he was doing street stuff, from what I understand, didn't have much connection with family at home. He learned how to be a man to teach his sons how to be men. He learned in prison how to get them through the biggest moments in their lives, birthdays, graduations, college graduations, the birth of Eric Amato Jr.'s children. He's been there through all of it, inside those walls. And for me, I started this by telling you all that I love you. I want to talk to Eric himself. Eric Amato Sr., who I know I haven't spoken to in a little while, but we've spoken on the phone a few times, and I want to say thank you for what your sons have done for my life. Eric Amato Jr. was actually supposed to run for this seat before I did, so there's at least one vote here. That is a direct consequence of the actions of somebody who would benefit from this bill. But I want to say to Eric Amato Sr., thank you for sharing your family with me, for sharing your life with me. I love you, and I'm proud to stand with Representative Roberts to give you a path to come home. Thank you, everybody.